Morgan.
And I'm Jake, and this is
Neverland Navigation Radio.
where we celebrate love. Do you believe in love? And we talk about what, in our opinion, are the most romantic spots all around Walt Disney World.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a lot of there. Here's the thing with Disney World. There are a lot of spots that can be romantic. I mean, really, the whole experience can be romantic, and it can also be wildly unromantic, just depending on circumstances.
Yes,
who
yes.
you're with, a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, the weather. There's a lot that kind of comes into play. But if you're expecting good weather, it's April 25th. It's the perfect day. All you need is a light jacket or whatever that quote from Miss Congeniality
Which
is.
does not work in Florida. April 25th is probably 100 degrees.
Yes, it will be warm. That is the day I got engaged. My fiance didn't even realize that it was April 25th. But then once we were engaged, I saw on Twitter that it was the perfect day. And I was like, wow, you picked the perfect day.
Literally.
Yeah, literally. We're in love. You know who else is in love? A lot of people. And you may be looking to take...
Lady and the Tramp.
Oh, yes. They are. Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of love in Disney.
I'm in love with Italian food the way that they're in love with each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd be in that situation for the spaghetti.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But anyway, there's a lot of places you can take your little sweetheart all around
Absolutely.
Walt Disney World. It actually has some underrated, extremely romantic vibes that you can take advantage of. A lot of people think Walt Disney World is just for the kids, for people with families, but it's not so.
No, not at all. And they used to have an ad campaign where they would suggest coming at night for like date night.
Yes, Disney is for lovers.
Yes.
Yes.
Weird. That was a long time ago.
Right. What was that? The 80s or the 90s?
I'm not even sure.
Yeah, I definitely have seen the clips.
It, yes, as this is something that used to be.
That's a good marketing campaign, trying to appeal to a very specific, type of visitor like that.
And saying this is the way that we're perceived. We're perceived as a place that you bring your children and you go on Dumbo and things are crazy and you eat chicken tenders and that's the thing. And then they're like, we're going to try to reframe this because that's not what it is, especially not now. It doesn't have to be.
No, not at all. It actually, in my opinion, it's one of my, when we're celebrating an anniversary or something, obviously we're Disney people.
Yeah.
So of course it comes to mind. But even if I weren't, just some of the restaurants alone at Walt Disney World are excellent choices for you to kind of have a little romantic moment if you've already done the fancy restaurant in your hometown. You know what I mean?
And I have done some of the fancy restaurants in the town that we live in, but whenever it's our anniversary, I'm like, which nice Disney restaurant do you want to go to for our anniversary? It's never like, which one do you want to go to here?
Yes, recently I did that very thing for our anniversary. We had dinner at it was for my fiance's birthday. We had a lovely little dinner at Toledo, which is a nice restaurant over at the Coronado Springs.
Yes.
And that was lovely.
I'm going to go out on a limb let me preface this by saying I haven't been to Victoria and Albert's yet. But Toledo to me is like the most romantic restaurant in Walt Disney World, and what a hidden gem.
I've got a couple restaurants just like, I think Toledo has a similar vibe to a couple of the restaurants on my list because it's got that like rooftop enchantment.
If you're not familiar with Toledo, it's on like, I think the 16th floor of the Destino Tower at Coronado Springs. The view is gorgeous. And I think a beautiful view is part of the romance for me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, when I'm looking for a romantic restaurant, that's part of what I'm looking for, a beautiful view.
Yes, I think that really enhances the dining experience. It makes the meal more memorable, but also what a beautiful backdrop to have for your meal. I mean, when we were eating, you could see right into Galaxy's Edge at Hollywood Studios and a couple other things around. And just the way that they're illuminated and their beautiful colors at night. It's such a beautiful thing for you to see while you're making memories you know?
Yes. The inside of Toledo is also gorgeous.
Yeah, they've got like an illuminated roof that kind of changes color, or
Right.
different color panels light up
Isn't that
throughout the
amazing?
night.
I want that in my house.
Yeah.
I want everywhere.
It's very kind of understated, but it's very
Yes.
like elegant, but it's
Right.
also
It's not like you're in a club, but
yeah, but it's colorful.
yes, it's slowly changing colors. I think it's romantic.
It makes a great ambiance.
You know what else is great about Toledo? We just kind of like jumped into this, sorry.
Yeah.
But you said Toledo and I was like, oh my gosh, this is like top of my list.
Yes, and top of the Grand Destino Tower.
Yes.
Yes.
The other thing about it is it's not like insane expensive,
No,
like
compared to some other things.
Victoria and Albert's. Yeah, you did spend a lot because you chose to spend a lot, but you don't have to.
Right.
Jake
we
got
went for the chef's, you know.
Yeah, like that was like
We were celebrating a special occasion.
yes.
But if you're just looking for yes.
And it was amazing, right?
And it, oh my gosh, one of
Like
the best
mind-blowing.
meals I've ever had.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was that good. It was,
But I've gone there and just gotten a bunch of small plates, and it was, I mean, maybe $100 at most.
that's probably what I'll do next time, just
Yeah.
because I've already done the.
You've done the big, yeah.
Right, so now I want to kind of try bits and pieces from the rest of the menu and find some more things that I really
Right.
like, because that's the great part about these restaurants that have kind of a little bit more of a refined edge to them, is that once you've kind of gotten your teeth into it, you can come back and revisit the menu from different angles. You'll find new things that you like because they put a lot of care into the preparation of every single thing on the menu. So even the things that you wouldn't normally order from another restaurant at these, you know, higher quality Disney restaurants,
Yeah.
it's a, you know, if you're willing to spend a little bit more on a little bit more of a deluxe kind of meal experience, then you get these really well prepared flavor combinations with super high quality ingredients.
Yes.
So you end up learning a lot about your culinary palate along the way.
Oh, absolutely. And so Toledo is an inside top floor of Destino Tower, but also there's a lounge right next to it where they've even
Yes.
got some like outdoor like patio type seating on this, you know, 16th floor.
Yes, it's
beautiful
like a
view.
rooftop terrace.
Yes.
And you can watch the fireworks there. You can see the Fantasmic pyrotechnics go off. You can
Right.
see, I believe you can see the Epcot fireworks from there as well.
Yeah, so if you wanted to go up there and just get a cocktail, it's a beautiful place to be.
Yeah, it really is. And honestly, I guess I should just go through these because I have a few more kind of resort locations and restaurant locations.
Yeah, how did you want to break this down, Jake? Do we want to do resort locations, or do we want to do like some restaurants and then some other, or?
Yeah, I think we can do, well, since we're already in the resorts,
Then let's just stay in the resorts.
let's
Okay.
just take a tour. Another one that comes to mind for me, well, I gave the first one. Do you have another resort location?
Yes, I have a kind of strange one, but I
Oh.
think maybe if for those of our fans that have experienced this, they might see where I'm coming from. Yeah, at Animal Kingdom Lodge, which is one of my it's one of my favorite deluxe resorts, because I love the different kind of atmosphere they've got going on there. Very like wilderness, but upscale.
You're in a
They-
whole nother, you know,
Yeah.
continent over there.
Yes, I just love that.
Yeah.
They have like fire pits in a few locations.
Right.
So whether it's nice, like cooler nighttime weather in our wintry months in Florida, and you want to sit outside by the fire pit, or there's one inside, I think those can be such a romantic place to just sit and relax. Maybe bring a drink with you. You know what I mean?
That sounds
Talk
great.
in front of a fire. Which, if you're a Floridian, especially, that's not something you get a lot of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Our homes aren't generally built with fireplaces.
Right. And there are, you know, there are some places in Florida where there are people who have, you know, larger plots of land and, you know, more suburban or even more rural parts of the state where you might be a little bit more used to a fire pit. But for most people who live in these city clusters that we've got
Yes.
going on, this is kind of like a fun, not so regularly had experience
Right.
for us.
And this is a very classy fire pit,
Yeah.
especially that one inside.
This ain't your cousin Daryl's hole in the ground.
Yeah.
This is like a nice.
Yeah.
Some of these are really elegant. The one at the Riviera is very nice. It's got these really comfortable, kind of chairs in a circle around it, but it's also right on the water. So it's also, you know, it's a whole, when they're doing these fire pits, they're taking into account that you want to have a comfortable kind of luxurious little experience.
Yeah, I don't know what the psychological connection between like a fire and romance is, but it's definitely
it's fair. Candlelit dinner, candles on the bath, you know. There's just something about that screams classic movie romance, you know.
Absolutely.
It's like flower petals, you know.
So that's one of my resort options.
That's a really good one that I didn't think about, but yeah, that's an underrated romantic
and free.
offering.
I mean,
and
free, because you can totally go to Animal Kingdom Lodge. There are some rules about whether you can park at a resort or not. We have had success going and saying, "Hey, we're here to Hidden Mickey Hunt, or we're just wanting to explore the resort," and some of them they'll let you park there to look around. Some of them you won't, and you might need to take a bus. But anyway, going to the resort is free.
Yes, which
so
is
you could
awesome.
Totally, after, let's say you had dinner somewhere. There are some nice places in Animal Kingdom Lodge. They didn't make my list. Well, for romantic, because my favorite in Animal Kingdom Lodge is Boma, but that's a buffet. Buffets aren't inherently romantic.
Yes.
But there are some others. If you like Jiko, the cooking place, I've heard that is romantic. When we went there, I wasn't a big fan of the food, so it didn't make my list, but that's just me personally, maybe that one time. But anyway, if you ate there and then went and sat by the fire pit, I think it would be a very lovely romantic night.
Absolutely. Go take a look at the flamingos.
Yeah. There are flamingos kind of located by the hot tubs out there. If you go back behind like the Jumbo House, then you could see like zebras and giraffes and the whole 9 yards, depending on who's there.
Yeah. Anybody home? We want to see. We want to see that. But that's romantic. Yes. They have this little thing it's kind of a little walkway that juts out into the savannah a bit, and there's some rock work and stuff, but really it's just a place for you to kind of get a better look at some of the animals. Going out there, hanging out, snuggling up, checking out the wildlife. I mean, non-wildlife. Well, conserved life.
Sometimes they have somebody out there with night vision glasses.
Yes.
Or night vision binoculars or whatever.
Kind of cool.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a schedule to that. It was there one time when I went at night. It was not
there. Don't count on it.
Yeah, don't count on it, or ask, or if you're really interested, you can send us a message and we'll ask.
Yeah.
But yeah, the hot tubs in some of these deluxe locations like Animal Kingdom Lodge are a little more private too. They're not like attached to the pool, which I think could be romantic if there aren't 12 other people in there.
That's a risky one. The hot tub is risky.
There's usually 12 other people.
There's usually even if you've been there for 20 minutes by yourself, and you know you get a party of 5 coming in. It's like, oh, well, we're leaving.
And like 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds.
Yep.
I'm like,
your child splashed me. Yeah. Do they even want? They feel like lobsters. They don't even want to be in there.
Yeah.
All right.
What's your next? You have another resort?
Yeah, I do. I think that Topolino's Top of the World Lounge over at the Contemporary. Any of those? Well, Topolino's is at the Riviera.
Separate.
Top of the World, Top of the World Lounge at the top of Bay Lake Tower at the Contemporary.
Sure.
Any of these kind of rooftop terrace type locations.
Like I said, a view.
Yes, and you know what? They're great for different reasons. Topolino's is great because they've got those strung up lights on the terrace. You've got a great view of several of the parks, so it's a really cool 360 view. Yeah. The Top of the World Lounge at Bay Lake Tower is great because it's a great firework viewing location for Magic Kingdom.
Oh yeah.
So when Happily Ever After comes back on April, I think 4th or something.
You would know. I'm surprised you don't have a countdown.
April 3rd or 4th or something.
Jake loves.
We'll be there. I'll be there with my fiance. Yeah. I told him we're going. Right. But that's a great viewing location for Magic Kingdom fireworks. Also want to give a shout out to the fireworks cruise, which is something a lot of people don't know about.
Yes.
It's just a boat that takes you around the waters of outside of the Magic Kingdom, and it stops in all the best places for you to view fireworks. They give you drinks and a snack are included.
Yes.
It's like a little private firework cruise with a party of, I think, up to 10 or 12.
Yeah,
it's small.
10, I think.
Yeah, it's small.
Yeah, it's small. And this is something I think we've mentioned before, because it is an added expense. And when you first see it, you might be like, "Oh my gosh, this is like, I don't know, $250."
Split it up.
But if you split it up,
this is a great.
But then it wouldn't be as romantic.
No. This is a good, if you're doing like a double or triple date, maybe this might be a good time. But yeah, if it's just you and your partner, then maybe not the cruise, unless you're looking to spend a little extra money, like extra money. Instead, for those situations, these rooftop lounges are great fireworks viewing locations. And let me tell you, that to me is going to be more romantic than being huddled in the park next to Steve from Louisiana, who's 7 feet tall and like directly on top of me. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I think being off the beaten path a little bit in a nice little cozy spot where you might not have the best view of every pixel of the projections or whatever. Right. But listen, you're going to be watching the fireworks on a beautiful terrace with your significant other right next to you. It's beautiful. 100%
agree. When I think of romantic spots, being huddled in a crowd is nowhere.
You don't like that?
Doesn't fit in that location.
Honey, take me into a crowd.
Yeah. So definitely trying to find a spot where you could see fireworks. I just wouldn't even worry about the projection if you're going for romance. Don't worry about the projection that night.
It's not like the projections are romantic. I mean, like sometimes they do like a little love segment of them, but don't stress yourself.
It's more romantic for you to not be in a crowd.
Exactly. Okay. Do you have any other resort things?
Yes, you mentioned rooftop kind of restaurants and lounges.
Resorts are great.
Yeah,
for this.
Resorts are great. I also think the Enchanted Rose Lounge, which is in the Grand Floridian, is very romantic, because a lot of times they've got the piano player playing. You know what I mean?
That is such romantic. A beautiful type of, and it is elegant in there. Of course,
it's not packed usually.
Roses, of course, are romantic to begin with. Beauty and the Beast is such a romantic story. So all of those things together, that I didn't even think of that one, but if I had remembered that it existed, it totally would have made it, because it's like designed for romance.
Absolutely, yeah. Grand Floridian in general, I think, is a pretty romantic area, but I'm trying not to go into the like crazy expensive.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, don't get married there. The wedding pavilion
is
there.
Can.
Well, yeah. Send us pictures if you did.
Yeah.
But the Grand Floridian is pretty romantic, because it's just got that grand, elegant, but also like intimate, cozy kind of environment. I think they put the wedding pavilion there not only for its beautiful view of Cinderella Castle, but also because that setting really lends itself to kind of a romantic little getaway.
Yes, the hotel itself is so elegant.
Yes.
So yeah.
Full of detail as well. Really beautifully constructed. The only other one I've got for resorts is the Boardwalk. Because listen, the Boardwalk is cute. Yeah. The Boardwalk is cute. I would recommend sunset to nighttime for a romantic time at the Boardwalk, because right when the sun is setting, they turn all those string lights on around the water. You get the sea breeze from across Crescent Lake. And let me tell you something, when that Boardwalk music plays and you're walking down it with your significant other, you remember all the reasons that you're in love with them, because it's a very romantic environment.
Yes, if you're walking in that Boardwalk area and it's like late enough, you also are kind of to yourself.
Yes, it's not
in Disney speak.
It's not like walking around World Showcase, although that has its own, maybe level of romance depending on the spots that you pick there. But for walking around the Boardwalk, you definitely have a little bit more breathing room.
Absolutely, yeah, I think it's
gorgeous. And that's a big part of it, of setting, a nice mood for you on date, is having a little bit of a feeling that you're not right on top of other people. You've got some, and at Disney World, unfortunately, it might be a little bit hard to come by, but if you know the spots, then it's very doable to have that type of feeling. And the Boardwalk is definitely a place where you can do it. Also, great things to do there. You can eat dinner at Trattoria Al Forno, which is a good Italian restaurant they've got right there on the Boardwalk.
My sister and her husband went there for their wedding anniversary, and they said it was lovely.
And
we've gone there a few times. for breakfast.
Yes, and always delightful. Always delightful. And let me tell you another fun thing to do in the boardwalk there. They have one of those, it's not Art of Disney, but it's a lot of that beautiful blown glass, hand sculpted furniture and stuff.
And they've got
paintings, art, yes, and canvas art. They've got one of those stores in the kind of set of stores that sit on the boardwalk.
Right.
And going through there and looking at all the art, it's just a lovely thing to do with your significant other. If you want to get wild, they've got the Atlantic City Dance Hall, which is like a dance venue, kind of like a club. And then they've got Jelly Rolls, and dueling pianos up in there. So
or you could bike for two,
get on a Surrey bike.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that because I would worry about falling and breaking something. But if you're very coordinated, hey,
the walk is enough for me. But if you're looking for that type of thing, they've got that available to you.
That little friendship boat at night would probably be a pretty romantic boat ride. Being as it goes slow and through Crescent Lake and by all of the lights.
Are you ready to go into the parks? Because I have the perfect thing.
Absolutely.
Or do you?
I have a few more outside of the parks, but they're not resort necessarily.
Oh, okay.
You have.
I've got one more thing outside of the park too. I also had on here the little beaches around.
Yes.
There are a lot. They've got them at the Polynesian. They've got them
Grand Floridian.
So the Seven Seas Lagoon has those.
Right.
And then around Barefoot Bay, which is like the Riviera, the Caribbean beach resort, that end of the Skyliner loop. There's beautiful beaches around there as well that you can hang out on. And there's also beaches around Crescent Lake. So around the beach club, the yacht club, they've also got nice beaches for you to hang out on. Now, these are artificial beaches. They actually don't connect to the water. They're like roped off. You can't go into the water.
Right.
They are just kind of like artificial, nice white sand beaches for you to just kind of lounge. That's all they want.
You can lounge. Sometimes you can see the fireworks from those locations.
Yes. And let me tell you
There's hammocks.
There's hammocks. There's chairs and a lot of them. But the best thing about them is that they're secluded, a beautiful view, and a great, like, off the beaten path way for you to just, maybe sit down with a drink and just have a nice little view.
Yeah, that's a great one because it's not, those areas are beautiful but not often utilized, so you can usually get like a pretty private spot to just hang out.
Yes, they're one of my favorite features of these resorts are these like nice little curated beaches for you to just kind of enjoy at will when many people won't even take a second look at them.
Yeah. For another non-park one, so this is not something that I consider romantic, but for me personally, because of my fear of heights, but I know a lot of people do.
Yeah.
So I did put the Aerophile. Helium balloon.
That would definitely be a memorable date.
Yeah, but I think any kind of like hot air balloon experience.
Classic.
Is classic, romantic.
Like a movie, yeah.
What would you think about that?
As
do you think it's romantic?
As I wouldn't think.
I would be too scared.
I wouldn't think in the moment that it was super romantic, but because I am a little bit afraid of heights, not as bad as you, I think, but like I would be nervous about that situation a little bit. But it is a great first activity because it breaks the ice. It lets you see another side to someone when they're really excited it just opens you up a little bit so that when you go and you get your meal in Disney Springs after you do the Aerophile, now you've got a great place to start your conversation or you've got a great, you've already made a really memorable kind of experience happen at the very beginning of things. So it sets you up nicely for a good evening's worth of conversation and activities. So I would recommend this maybe for an earlier on date. You know what I mean?
Not a surprise though. Because
what if don't surprise people with heights.
Yes, exactly.
That's rough. That's cruel.
Yeah. It would be, it could potentially be bad if the person's not comfortable with it. But you know how a lot of times when you're first dating, you don't want to tell the person,
right? You want to seem grand and romantic and spontaneous, and you don't want to spoil,
fearful or whatever. So you might not say, and then you're in a situation. Yeah.
So you might
So
have to be smooth and casually be like, if you were afraid of anything, what would it be? I'm not afraid of heights, but I know a lot of people are. And then you can know if they're afraid of heights or not.
Yeah.
You know, you got to be smooth. You got to be, you know, you got to be cool.
Yeah. Do you have any other Disney Springs ones?
You know, it's actually funny. I was trying to think about Disney Springs, and the only thing that I can remember is that they have, by the movie theater over there, by the AMC, they've got a little stage that sometimes has live music.
Yeah,
and then
there's a few places.
And then by World of Disney, they have it, by the Starbucks, they have a stage with live music as well. And I just think that that's fun. They also have the scrolling piano, which is somebody who is on like a moving platform with a piano on it who goes around playing music.
Yeah, that's wild. I mean, it's a moving piano. If you haven't seen this, it's pretty
cool.
Yeah.
It adds a lot of ambiance. And they have a lot of I guess hired musicians that kind of just set up shop.
Yeah.
During the holidays, they have an a cappella group that goes around.
Right.
So for me, Disney Springs Romance is just walking around and experiencing
Especially at Christmas time when they've got all the lights up.
Yeah. For me, there's not one specific place in Disney Springs that screams romance, but the experience of kind of wandering around and discovering things to do.
I agree.
Popping in and out of stores. They've got that Love Pop store with the cards.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's a weird store, but it comes to mind as like something fun to just wander into and look at. You know what I mean? That's the fun of Disney Springs for me, is popping in and out of these stores.
Yeah.
Go into Disney Style and say hi to the Skyliner gondola.
Sure,
yeah. We recently on our TikTok, we did a history video about the Magic Kingdom Sky Buckets, Skyway, that you guys really appreciated. So thank you. But if you go into that Disney Style store, they've got a gondola from that. But they've also got a teacup for you to like take cute couples pictures in.
That's
maybe
like my favorite store. I think it's so cute.
Cute for couples because it's a photo op too. You know what I mean? So there's some things throughout Disney Springs that I think could make for a romantic.
Just walking along the water. I think there are some
the bridge.
Really good,
yes.
There's some really good restaurants, especially for desserts.
Yes.
There's some really good desserts.
Do a dessert tour.
Yes.
Get a restaurant from Salt and Straw. Get a cookie from Gideon's. What did I say?
You said a restaurant from Salt and Straw.
Get a restaurant from Salt and Straw. Say, I want one restaurant. Get a milkshake from Salt and Straw.
Yes.
Get a cookie from Gideon's. Take a little tour.
From Sprinkles.
A donut from Everglazed.
Yeah, there's a lot of sweets to be had.
We'll do a whole video tour one day.
Yeah, and then Paddlefish.
Yes.
Is
the big boat.
Yeah, that is supposed to be. I have been there. When I went there, it was during the day, and there was not. I didn't get a romantic view, but I've heard that they have some. So that might be a good.
But they might not be in stock. You know, you've got.
They could be out of stock. But there you go.
You do have to keep that. Don't bank on these romantic views, guys, because you could be on a wall. You know.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah. But it is one of those restaurants that might make for a romantic meal anyway, though, because you're in a boat. It's kind of cool.
If you yes, exactly.
If you like seafood, their menu is very seafood oriented.
It is. I would say if you are wanting to get a view at one of these restaurants, you can get there a little early, nicely ask the host or hostess if it becomes available, and tell them you're willing to wait for a nicer view.
But be willing to wait.
But you'd have to be willing to wait.
Be nice.
You have to be nice about it.
And no guarantees.
It still might not happen.
Okay. Yep. We're on the exact same page about this. I think a lot of people don't consider these things as I think a very common experience is they get sat down and they say, "Oh, we were really hoping for a fight." Don't do that. Guess what? I understand, but you didn't. It's your fault for not thinking it through.
Right.
You have to get ahead of the game.
Yes.
Yeah.
I get there early if I'm ever going to do this, which I almost never do this.
Put in the work.
Yeah. Get there early. Ask. Tell them you're willing to wait. Wait for it if you need to wait for it. And then still it could not happen, and you're going to have to be okay with that, because that's not really what they do.
What do you say to taking chances?
Yeah.
You know?
I think a lot of times they would, if you're willing to wait.
It's funny that if you show that you are just politely asking,
yes,
if you show that you are not expecting but just wondering,
exactly,
you actually end up getting treated a lot nicer than someone who is weirdly being demanding about
and
this
having
situation.
Expectations that really aren't fair.
Because who wants to reward that?
Right.
No one. As people who've worked in the service industry, it's very clear that you get what you give.
Yeah.
If you give me good energy and you give me, a polite request, I'm so much more receptive to that than
absolutely
outrage or
yeah.
whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Some
Or
people get wild.
entitlement.
Yeah. Okay, I've got one more thing outside the parks, but it takes you right into the park, and it's the Skyliner.
Oh, that's on mine too.
Yeah,
especially if you can get one by yourself.
And this is another height one, though.
I don't mind the height on this, but yes, this.
You gotta ask ahead of time if they're okay with like heights, because although it's not as bad as the Aerophile, which is like I think kind of an extreme height situation.
My height thing's weird too.
This one can trigger the height fear in some people because it swings down.
Right.
So
and
it does.
Stop.
Yeah. So occasionally you are just stopped and like dangling over water.
And that is when I get nervous. When
right.
it stops and you're just kind of like swaying there on a rope, that makes me a little nervous. Not so nervous that I won't do it.
But if you're on a date, that's not a bad thing. You laugh, you giggle. You're like, oh my God, it stopped. That's so funny. And you look out the window and you look at all the things. It can be cute. And also, if you're taking it into Epcot, oh my gosh, you can't bank on this because it's impossible to plan. But one time, Morgan and I and our families were on the Skyliner, and it was going past the France Pavilion of Epcot, and we got stuck at the perfect view of Harmonious.
Just for a few minutes.
Just for a few minutes. But it stopped, and we got this, like, incredible firework viewing from the Skyliner car, and it was, like, so magical. Now, you can't bank on that, but it is a possibility. It is.
Yes. There are a few rides that you can kind of hope that you get a firework view, but yeah, you can't bank on them.
Oh, like Seven Dwarfs, Big Thunder Mountain.
Yep.
Yep.
But yes, Skyliner, I think it's just a slow, breezy.
Yes.
I mean, and I'm talking especially at night.
I would say at night is the romantic time to do it.
Yes, you can see all of the lights.
You can see Spaceship Earth all lit up.
Yes.
It's fun.
Spaceship Earth all lit up is like...
That's pretty romantic, going and seeing the...
It's on my list, and I get that it's not...
Talk about it.
It's not like a thing... I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's just there. You know what I mean? It's at the front of Epcot. You can see it from multiple places, like we just said at the Skyliner, which is really behind Epcot.
Yep.
You could see it from the parking lot of Epcot. But like, I think just finding somewhere a little off the path to like sit on a bench and just watch the Spaceship Earth lights. I could do that. I could sit there and be happy and feel romantic if I was cuddled up next to somebody. You know what I mean?
Right. I've got to tell you, now I am biased because I got engaged, I got proposed to in front of Spaceship Earth. But when I am in front of Spaceship Earth and I'm looking at the fountain and I'm looking at the lights all on Spaceship Earth, I always think to myself, what a beautiful, romantic, gorgeous little slice of life that is.
I agree. I agree, and I did not get proposed to in front of Spaceship Earth.
Yeah, but it really is like jaw-dropping,
Yeah.
And when you've got your, your person with you on your arm and you're, all cuddled up looking at Rainbow Connection or whatever the current Beacons of Magic is happening, the little light show that happens on Spaceship Earth, it's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely.
It's really nice. It's similar to me to hanging out on Sunset Boulevard and watching the Tower of Terror projections. During the holidays, they have holiday projections, but right now, this will end soon, but during the 50th anniversary, they illuminate Tower of Terror at night for Beacons of Magic, and they project onto it. We don't know if that's going to be replaced with something when the 50th anniversary concludes on March 31st.
It's hard to imagine that they would do something so amazing and then take it away and it just have nothing there.
Yeah, I was elated to hear that they're going to keep the lights on Spaceship Earth.
Me too.
They're not temporary for the 50th, they're forever. Epcot forever, which is like wonderful. I think they are a wonderful addition, and I always think to myself, I can't believe they just thought to do this. This feels so classic Disney, so classic Epcot.
Yes.
It's like it's such a well-fitting addition.
I think it's my favorite thing that came out of the 50th. And I'm
I do too.
So relieved that it's staying.
I think, and the fountain in front of it, like the redo of kind of the front of Spaceship Earth area, they added that ribbon of LED that wraps around as well. Like those additions,
gorgeous.
like they are subtle, if not practical enhancements that just plus up one of my favorite spots.
And don't you think it does? It's like what you were saying. It feels so quintessentially Epcot.
It's so classic.
Epcot always had like fun lights.
Yeah, that's part of it. That's part of the vibe.
Yeah.
The glitter and the pavement around Spaceship Earth, the neon signs and neon colors, the electric umbrella.
The rainbow on the astronauts uniform.
And even before that, yes, the rainbow on the astronauts uniform, the rainbow tunnel corridor from the Imagination Pavilion, the neon signs in Horizons. All of this comes together to be the visual identity of Epcot.
Absolutely.
So when it's expressed in this new but classic, kind of presentation, God, it makes my heart like sing.
Yes.
So hey, Disney, great job on the additions to Epcot's aesthetic for the 50th anniversary. They really plussed up the park for me. Because when I came back to Disney World for the first time in 2017 after having not gone for a while, it was still the Leave a Legacy Monument graveyard, as fans called it.
Right.
That's always how it was when I was a kid, so I was just used to that.
Oh.
But I've got to tell you now, I love the way Epcot, the entrance is now. It's wonderful. It's actually more closely reminiscent of opening day Epcot before the Leave a Legacy monuments. Yeah. Right.
Yes, I love that. Those Leave a Legacy things, I never stopped to look at them, so they were just kind of there, and
there were some fun, like, I remember on the internet, I would always see posts that were like, did you know NSYNC has a tile on that? Like, stuff like that I thought was kind of fun. But other than that, they weren't my, I didn't
really get that.
I never stopped to question them because they were there my whole life.
Right.
So when I came back and I was like, oh yeah, what's up with these big rocks in front of Spaceship Earth? It doesn't actually make any sense.
No.
And it doesn't feel
it seems
Epcot.
Like I know. It seems like they did it to make money off of, but I don't know. It just kind of wound up being an eyesore for people that didn't do one.
It was kind of a counterpart to the Magic Kingdom brick situation.
Or it was after.
I think it was, yeah. It was like Epcot's version of it that they were trying to do. And I unfortunately just don't think it succeeded. I do like what they did with it. I like that they transferred it to those really colorful walls that are kind of by the parking lot, the new Leave a Legacy kind of walls.
I just forget that they're there.
I never really look at them, but I'm glad that that's how they chose to preserve them because I do think they're pretty. So yeah, it's nice. Yeah. They're colorful. They're cool. They match Epcot's new aesthetic, which is kind of bold lines, bold strokes of color.
New stuff is pretty.
I need the new Leave a Legacy stuff is pretty. Okay. The old ones I don't think were pretty. They were a little. You know what they reminded me of? A corporate business park.
Yeah.
You ever been? You know what I mean? Yeah. They'll have a water feature sometimes, and they'll have like sculptural stuff going on.
I completely agree.
They felt like that.
Yeah.
They felt like the statue outside of a courthouse.
Yes.
They gave that kind of downtown vibe. Not good for Epcot.
No.
Stylistically, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Do you want to stick with Epcot?
Sure, you've got one?
Well, I just put that there are definitely some of the more romantic in-park restaurants in Epcot, and that, again, to me, ties back to View.
World Showcase.
Yes, World Showcase.
Yes. What do you have? I have two.
Okay, well, we might have the same too.
Oh.
Well, my first one is the La Hacienda.
Yes.
So, especially if you get this during fireworks like we did.
Okay, but this one it's more reasonable because no matter where you sit, you do have firework viewing.
Right. You just might not be right on the window.
But don't be picky, it's fine. Of course you can ask, ahead of time very politely.
It's less likely with something like that where you're not just asking for a specific seat, you're asking for a specific seat during a specific time.
Right. So that's a tough one. But anywhere in that restaurant, the windows along the water are huge floor to ceiling windows. Yeah. So you will at least have a partial view.
Yeah, I agree. And yeah. So the view, the food was very good.
They pump in the music.
They pump in the music.
They turn the lights off.
The
really romantic.
Yes.
Yes.
What's your other one?
My other one, it's just because the food is so good, Via Napoli.
Oh, okay,
it's nice.
Okay.
Now, I actually don't think getting one pizza to split is kind of fun, kind of a fun experience.
Yeah.
You're not going to get firework viewing here, but I actually find the Italy pavilion to be quite enchanting and romantic.
I do too. I think
it's got
Italy
beautiful sculptures.
And France.
Yes.
Both have just themselves.
If I would have enjoyed the food more, I would have put Chefs de France on here.
I also tried Monsieur Paul's, and I only tried that once, and it was for an anniversary 6 years ago, 5 years ago, and we had a really bad experience. So
unfortunate.
Until I go back and it's better, I would not. For me, I can't recommend it.
And we had a surprisingly not great experience at Chefs de France the last time we tried it as well.
But I have had good experiences there before, so that could have been a one-off, and we will go back.
What I was going to say was, over on our YouTube channel, Neverland Navigation Co., we're doing a series called Taste the Magic, where we try every single restaurant, sit-down restaurant in the Disney parks in 1 year, and Chefs de France is back on our list, so we're going to come back and retry it, and we'll let you know if that was a fluke or, we're kind of detecting a theme. But for now, I would say Via Napoli is just really good. If you're just looking for really good food, split a little pizza there, enjoy.
Not little. A giant pizza.
Or split an order of tortellini, because that tortellini is good and one serving of it can serve two.
Okay.
So, and get an appetizer, they got mocktails. It could be a nice little meal.
Yeah. So that wasn't my second one.
What's your second one?
My second one is Spice Road at Morocco. Again, for the view.
Yep.
They have near floor-to-ceiling windows.
Right.
I think that the decor in there is very beautiful.
It is.
In its way. Plus, what they serve is tapas, small plates, so shareable, which means you're trying everything together with the person you're with, which I think can be such a romantic experience to share something, talk about it. You know what I mean?
Romantic experience there. The tea service. They bring a cart, table sides to you, and they pour you fresh tea.
It's very minty, though, you guys. Just be aware.
Now, the flavor is very mint.
Almost spearmint-y.
Forward. But the idea of that, to me, is very romantic.
Yeah.
If the Grand Floridian's tea... what do they call that? Tea party? Tea service?
I don't remember what it's called. I never got to experience that. Yeah.
But... if they were to bring that back, I would probably put this on there because the idea of that to me seems very, romantic.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So does that wrap up Epcot for you?
The only other thing I would say, and this is both Epcot and takes us a little bit out of Epcot, is boat rides. There is an inherent sense of romance to boat rides because Love Boats were a very popular kind of turn of the century and onward amusement attraction for young couples in America.
Sure.
So
plus that TV show, huh?
Oh, Love Boat. Also Love Boat. Yes. But these little
I don't know it. My mom loved that show.
Yeah, well, that's a staple of pop culture too.
Right,
I think that's part of the DNA of, what influences us in thinking what is romantic and what is not is, pop culture stuff like that.
Yeah, and I agree with you. If we were going at all outside the realm of Walt Disney World, I would have said I think that the Disney cruises can be the most romantic thing in the world. We just recently went on a Disney cruise and just being out on the balcony or whatever, on the top deck looking over the water with your person you're with is very romantic.
And they do fireworks on
those. And they do fireworks at sea, only for Disney. Disney's the only company that does that.
And some very intimate, enchanting dining. The fireworks?
No, they're It's Pirates in the Caribbean themed.
Oh.
So
that's not romantic.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pirates kind of takes the romance out of the fireworks.
Arg. I love you. I love you, Blackbeard.
Yeah.
Arg.
But anyway, back to the friendship boats, which is what you were talking about.
The friendship boats?
Yeah. Weren't you talking about the friendship boats?
I was going to say boat rides. Boat attractions. Attractions on boats. The friendship boats are kind of, I guess, one of them outside of the park. But
the friendship boats are the boats that go from Epcot.
Oh yeah, those would be kind of.
and then also to Hollywood Studios.
I was specifically speaking about things like Frozen Ever After, Living with the Land. Like, I mean, like, take a boat ride.
Okay, I thought you said this is in Epcot, but it goes out of Epcot, and I thought I was picturing literally going out of Epcot.
Well, that too. But okay. I meant like Epcot has a couple of these, but there are some in other parks too. So like Na'vi River Journey. I don't
think the Frozen ride is very romantic because you're on with so many people and you get wet.
Yeah, sure. I think that in the same way as the Aerophile is a good first thing to do though.
Sure.
You have a nice little romantic, because there are even, I would say, some Omnimover rides, like The Little Mermaid. They have a little like love story in it.
I think that those are more romantic because you're in a ride vehicle
singular.
Two.
Yeah, you're right.
Instead of like the Frozen boat ride, you're in with like 10 other people.
You know what? That's true. That's true.
Which other people?
People Mover could be good.
People Mover's on my list, but I didn't know we were doing Magic.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
I want to hear you talk about the People Mover.
People Mover is, in my opinion, the most romantic thing at Magic Kingdom.
I was gonna put this on my list, but I was like, well, that's crazy.
It is crazy.
I'm so glad you said it.
I'm crazy.
Yeah, I guess I am too.
People Mover is like breezy. You're in your own little car. You know, there can be people in cars next to you, but you're in your own little car.
But it is, there's just a little bit more of a sense of like privacy though, because you are at least, they don't put you with another family in the same car. Sure. So at least you do have like your own little section. You know?
Yeah. And I mean, you get to see a little bit of all of Tomorrowland. You get to see the castle at the very least. Mm-hmm. Best case scenario, you get to see some fireworks over the castle, or even they even do like the occasional firework during like shows that. What are the shows that?
They have the Mickey's Magic Friendship Fair during the daytime.
Yes, and they'll shoot off a few fireworks at the end of it. Yes. So it's kind of like random.
Yes. That would be during the daytime. That during the nighttime, maybe try to aim for firework. You know, it's tough to time, but if you're willing to take the risk, then yeah. But even if you don't get it, the nighttime view of Cinderella Castle with all of the lights on it is very pretty, and the canopy has been illuminated at Tron Light Cycle Run.
That's true.
So you also get a nice view of, you know, the pretty lights that they've got going on over there now.
Yeah. I think it's also the
Cuddle Close in the scary Space Mountain part.
Well, Cuddling Close is what I was going to say. It's the kind of ride where you're not in a seatbelt. You don't even have a lap bar. So you could totally snuggle up to the person next to you.
Yeah.
You know?
And just hold on tight when it goes upside down.
He's joking, in case you haven't been.
Whatever. Don't rain on my People Mover parade.
Yeah, I love People Mover.
I do too. It's my favorite ride at Magic Kingdom.
It's mine too.
You know?
Do you have anything else from Magic Kingdom?
Oh, of course I do. No. No. I just had boat rides in general. I do see. I know
Pirates. Pirates is so romantic. We were just talking about how Pirates is so romantic. Oh no, I lost them.
Never mind.
Sorry. I'm sure.
No, you're good. You're actually kind of right.
Boat rides that are like more transportation, like the friendship boats, could be more romantic than like Pirates of the Caribbean or
Arg.
Yeah, or
I had for a 10.
Or Frozen, or I mean,
Don't Be Chicken.
Living with the Land maybe during Christmas, but still. I don't know.
All right. I'm getting out of the boat. No more boat. This boat is going down like Titanic.
Oh no.
Fireworks Cruise is the only boat I will allow. Turns out. I also have on here that might be. Oh, did we already talk about that? Yeah, we did. Never mind. The only other thing I had on here was I actually think if you get the front row of like.
I can't wait. Splash Mountain. He's gonna say Splash Mountain.
Oh boy, zippity doo dah. I was gonna say like, oh, I shouldn't even talk about this with you. Plug your ears. Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway is actually kind of a cute ride for you to do with your significant other, because at the end, Mickey and Minnie are on this cute picnic and they're in love and it's cute. You go dancing with Daisy at the dance studio.
Their heads are like circles.
If you get front row, you're so mean-spirited about this ride. If you get front row on this, it's a ride you giggle along with kind of when you're on it. So it's a little cute to do with your significant other. That's all.
If we're talking rides, I do think that, like you said, The Little Mermaid, Nemo, even Haunted Mansion to some extent, where you're in a...
Hurry back.
Yeah, where that wedding scene, right?
Oh my God, so tears me up every time.
When you're in a ride
Where do you get
vehicle,
your dress?
Real.
Constance, where do you get your hatchet?
But when you're in a ride vehicle where it's just you two and it's like just
that's like going to see a spooky movie.
Yeah, you can cuddle up.
Yeah,
I think it's the opportunity to cuddle up and it be, Disney appropriate.
Yes, but it is like a spooky movie when like something pops out and scares you. You go, and then you cuddle close.
Yeah,
it's cute. It's cute. It's like a teenage type of date type of moment.
Yeah. Remember when I didn't chop your head off right after we get married? Bonus points.
You're welcome. We're off to a great start. I think that's it for me. Do you have anything else?
Yes, I do. Last thing.
Yay.
Okay, so at the end of Main Street, across from Casey's corner, there is the ice cream spot where you can get ice cream, and it can be a complete nightmare, like right before fireworks. But I'm not talking about then. I'm talking about at the end of the night, 15 minutes before they're about to close.
I've never gotten ice cream there.
Oh, let's do it.
Okay.
So
are you free tonight?
I am.
We're already
going.
Yeah.
So into the night, 15 minutes before they close, or somewhere thereabouts, where a lot of people have already left because the fireworks have already gone off.
Yeah.
People, little kids are largely headed to their hotel or headed home or whatever.
They're playing the Get Out of the Park music.
Yeah. It's a great time to grab some ice cream and sit at the little tables right in between the ice cream shop and the castle and just stare at that gorgeous castle and eat some amazing sweet creamy ice cream. And I think that that's a very romantic thing. There's a lot less people there at that time.
Yes.
There's a lot less people doing that specifically.
Yes, post fireworks, pre-close. If you can get that enchanted little that enchanted short little period of time, it's a great time to take advantage of a couple of those things along Main Street
and
that
so
are normally
so romantic.
The confectionery is normally empty around then.
Right.
That ice cream shop is usually pretty much clearing out because everyone has missed the fireworks getting their ice cream. So now it's, now everyone's gotten it.
Right. I think that just absorbing the Main Street atmosphere, absorbing the castle.
Yes.
Having that as a background, how could you not be in a happy or romantic type mood?
That is one of the only ways to do it, though, because Main Street is very enchanting and romantic when it's lit up at night, but the crowds of people make it extremely difficult to enjoy.
Exactly.
So this, and maybe if you've got a Tony's Town Square reservation and you're down for slightly subpar Italian food.
I know.
And
I almost put it on my list because the concept is so romantic.
It is. It's romance themed.
Unfortunately, the subpar food aspect of it kept it off my list. But go on.
Be a real Lady in the Tramp and go to Trattoria Al Forno on the boardwalk and eat at an actual good Italian restaurant.
There's a few good Italian restaurants on Disney property. Unfortunately, Tony's at this moment isn't one of them.
It's just toward the bottom of the quality chain.
It wasn't terrible.
Objectively, the quality is not as good as the other Italian restaurants there. So that knocks it down a peg, and it just is what it is.
But it's so, the concept.
The theming is
romantic.
They've got this beautiful little topiary situation of Lady and the Tramp. They've got these themed out windows in the restaurant that offer some very romantic views if you stand just right.
Right.
And also the outdoor portion of the seating there is extremely romantic. During the holidays, it sits right on the Christmas tree. But even not, it sits right at the end of or the beginning of Main Street by the train station. So you get a feel of all of those.
Loop.
Yeah, but you get a sense of all the, at night, you get the lit up Main Street aspect of it,
right?
the bustling of the park.
Oh my God. And if we got a night parade, oh, it would be perfect. Anyway.
Oh, the most romantic thing you could do is sit there to watch the Main Street Electrical Parade if they ever bring something.
If it ever comes back.
If they ever bring any night parade back to us.
Maybe by then the food will get better.
For Disney 100, can we get a nighttime parade?
I know. Okay, yeah, we do this.
That would be great. No, I think people agree.
I know people agree.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I actually do have one more on.
I can't wait.
On in Magic Kingdom, and that's Cinderella's Royal Table.
Oh.
If you can't get into Cinderella's Royal Table, just going to and making a wish together at the Wishing Well, Cinderella's Wishing Well, which is right behind the castle.
Yes.
But Cinderella's Royal Table, there's a lot of proposals that happen up there. There's a lot of proposals that happen in front of that Wishing Well, actually, because it's
or in front of the castle.
Yeah. The castle, you know what I mean? It's just romantic.
It is.
The views from Cinderella's Royal Table are very beautiful. The menu is prefix and fancy, and yeah.
I've been up there once as a child. Now I can't wait to go back. It's on the lineup. We're doing it this year.
And I did it last year at the end of the year for breakfast, and it was lovely. Although I wouldn't call that romantic. Something about breakfast. Maybe breakfast in bed, but that doesn't really count in this.
No, I think honestly, for me, a romantic morning type of breakfast situation, either getting a quick breakfast and sitting out on a balcony or a terrace or something like that is really lovely. I would almost prefer that to like a sit down breakfast type of situation.
I agree.
Epcot in the morning is criminally underrated. It can be pretty sparse crowd wise. If you hit those couple good hours, if Epcot is opening at 8, there will be a rush of people who arrive at 8
to go on Frozen. Yeah.
So maybe don't get swept up in that if you're looking for romance. Right. A little bit after, but a little bit before the kind of midday rush. Right, there's this kind of sweet spot, right, 9-10 o'clock, where if you go in, you can actually enjoy walking around the World Showcase a bit, hopefully on a day that's not scorching hot. But yes, getting a pastry in France, sitting on the water there and enjoying the sights, that is actually an underrated romantic thing to do on the World Showcase.
That area at that time can be busy if it's a busy time, though, just something to bear in mind.
Yeah, you can't guarantee sparse crowds.
Yeah.
But you are more likely.
I went with my family not that long ago, and getting there that early, I didn't think it was going to be nuts to get a pastry, but it was. The line was pretty long.
Yeah, on busy days, it is unfortunately going to be busy all day.
Because it's so good, though. The pastries back in the bakery.
Patisserie.
Yeah. Yes. Very good.
They are very good. I really do enjoy that patisserie shop back there. I think it's got everything I've had from there. I've liked.
Yeah.
Macarons. I don't know the difference. The things that look like little pretty cookies.
Yeah, I don't know. I've gotten into conversations about how to pronounce that word multiple times. I'm not.
You're not here for baking facts, are you?
Well,
I hope not.
I can tell you how to make them. But I can't tell you how to pronounce it correctly.
See, Morgan can help you bake. I will tell you the history of baking at Walt Disney World or whatever. All right. Hey, those are some pretty romantic spots all around Walt Disney World.
Yeah.
You are more than prepared for date night.
Yeah. Are you done?
Oh, are you not?
No, we didn't get into. Well, these are little though. Oh. I just want to say, in a couple of the other parks that we haven't even mentioned yet, like Animal Kingdom back by Everest is very gorgeous at night, and it is usually very, very not busy.
Get an ice cream from the ice cream truck back there.
Yeah, I haven't tried that, but like just sitting back there, like where there are the string lights and you can see
the flags.
Yes, and you can see Everest from there. At the end of the night, for whatever reason, people aren't there.
No.
So it is a very secluded.
Because people leave Animal Kingdom at night.
People don't think that's a good place to be. I disagree.
I do.
Everest at night is in itself is kind of a romantic.
Beautiful.
Like the beginning of the ride Expedition Everest is kind of like flowy and lovely. And then when you get to the scary part, you just hold on to the person you're with. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But the lights make it beautiful. That whole area back there is beautiful. In Pandora, if you can now, I for one, and I know that this isn't everybody, I don't really love walking. I get nervous walking around Pandora at night because it is so dark back there. But like grabbing a seat and just kind of like absorbing that area is a lovely romantic
Ride
place
Navi
to
River
be.
Journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there's your boat. Yeah.
Yeah, I mentioned that. Yeah.
No, I know.
Yeah, I would. That's another one. Honestly, let me tell you, the front seat will help you forget. If you can get the front seat, then it will feel less like you're in a sea of people.
Right.
You're just in a sea of a river.
Right.
Navi River.
Navi
Journey.
And then the front in Hollywood Studios, the like Hollywood Boulevard, Sunset Boulevard,
Echo Lake.
Yeah. Oh, Echo Lake. Oh my God, especially at Christmas.
That whole front half of the park.
I could sit in front of Echo Lake at Christmas when the lights and everything. With the Christmas tree in the middle of the lake, I could just sit there for like an hour cuddled with.
Some of my favorite holiday photos of me and my fiance from like early in our dating days were there, and it just, to me, that is such a romantic, enchanting.
There's a lot of places like that at night where just sitting and absorbing the lights and absorbing the atmosphere can really put you in a romantic.
Yes, good mood setter.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
And to me, that's romantic. You know?
Yes, same.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's the end of my list.
There you have it. Yeah, now you're even more prepared for date night. Honestly, I think a lot of those, between the two of us, we got some ones that maybe you weren't thinking about. Let us know if you've considered these,
or if you have
date time destinations, or if you've got some of your own that have worked out for you, or that you're planning on. We would love to hear it. But in the meantime, thank you so much for listening. If you want to show us a grand romantic gesture,
oh yes,
the best thing that you could do,
the way to our heart,
is subscribing and reviewing our podcast. We would love to hear your thoughts about the show. If you've enjoyed us, then a 5-star review would be incredible. Or you could just follow us online as well.
Right. We have a website at neverlandnavigation.co, which has links to all of our social media. It also has the blog.
Yeah, Morgan writes a really good blog over there. Check it out.
If you're listening to us on podcast form, right?
Yes.
You can also see us on YouTube.
Yes. Audio only listeners, we have faces, and you can see them on our YouTube channel, Neverland Navigation Co., where we also do in-park content there.
Yeah.
We review restaurants.
We're doing
Taste the Magic. We're actually looking to kind of diversify our content a bit in the future with some other type of informational videos. So subscribe to the Neverland Navigation Co. YouTube channel, because it's a really interesting time for us where we're dipping our toes into a bunch of different stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun. You should join us on the adventure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And of course, you can check out some really cool Disney-inspired merch on the Neverland Navigation Etsy shop. For our visual viewers, I'm currently wearing a Captain EO inspired t-shirt, and there's a lot of cool vintage ride inspired things, but also a bunch of just cute phrases and art on shirts
Disney
over there.
Inspired. Yeah, but we can do custom stuff. So if you've seen something that you like, send us a picture.
If you see something, say something. You know?
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
That applies here, sure.
And yeah, thank you guys so much for listening, and we will see you on our next adventure.